All right. So thanks for coming to join us again. So today we have a panel of 3 real estate agents. So we have Sean Erickson, Chase Stam, and Suzanne Gallegos here with us. So they're all, here local to us in Utah.
And Suzanne, if he messed up your name, just
It
zap him.
Good? All right.
Cool.
All right. So all here local to us. So they've been in the business for, a little bit of time. We're going to let each of them just do a quick, how long they've been in the business, kind of what just really quick, what their team setup is. And then we're going to jump into each one of them a little bit more with kind of what their superpower is. And then we're going to dig into that and see if we can get some good knowledge and maybe even some advice for some other agents or, some cool things that they've learned as they've been in the business. So let's get started. Chase, you want to get started and introduce yourself?
Yeah, of course. Hi, everybody. My name is Chase Stam. I'm with the Realty One Group. What I believe my superpower is helping my clients out, to the best of my abilities, being there for them. Just really having their best interest in mind, not trying to push them to a higher price point, but most likely just being there for their needs. And, it's a big transaction. Someone needs to feel like that you have their back. You're going to be on their team to bat for them when they're needed. So that's what I take pride in is just being there for my client and really building the best relationship I can with them and the other realtor on the other side.
I love that, Chase. Sorry, I know we're just doing the introductions, but I was just going to say I just like it just because a lot of times you hear of so many people that are trying to help somebody, but really they're thinking of their own best interest. So I like that you keep the client's best interest in mind instead of your own. So that's awesome. I love that actually.
And how long have you been in the business now?
I've been in the business now for this coming month. It's going to be 4 years. So just coming up on my 4-year mark.
Cool.
And just so you know, I've looked up these guys' statistics. So these guys do close business, or they wouldn't be on here. So I appreciate them.
Yeah, these are all really good realtors.
Yeah, these guys close some business, so we appreciate that. So high five, Chase, for being in the business for 4 years and still rocking it.
Thank you. It's getting better every day.
Awesome.
All right, Suzanne, let's jump over to you.
All right. So I've been in the business for 13 years. I got my license one day, and the next day the whole world blew up, and it became the 08.
You got your license during the crash.
Kind of like my fault, I think.
Oh, man.
So yeah, I learned the hard way on all the hard stuff, but I love the business and I love working with people. And I think my superpower is really my innate ability to connect with other people and get in and have a really honest conversation to learn what's important to people, and all part of that customer service experience again that Chase already mentioned. It's huge, and I would venture to say that any realtor who has any success is able to offer that customer service piece.
Cool. Awesome. Appreciate that. And we're going to dig into that a little bit more here in just a little bit.
Okay.
And Sean.
Okay. Sean Erickson with Keller Williams. I've been actually with Keller Williams for a little over 6 years, the entire time I've been licensed. And I would say my superpower, I had to think hard on this one because I don't really feel like I do anything great. I feel like I do a lot of things really well. There's not one thing that I hand above anybody. Well, but I think I was actually working for a builder a few years ago and had a lot of time between showings, and I said, I'm going to get my broker's license about 3 years ago, because I really feel that this business is two things, especially right now where there's so many agents out there that's relational based. So you have to really establish those and really dig in to see what people need and what they want. Forget about what you need and want, but put others before yourself. And then secondly, going back to that brokers, when I got my broker's license, is that we're in an education-based system as well. So I think it's really valuable to be as educated as possible. So, I mean, don't take just your 18 credits to CE because you need to. When you're there, learn something. Take the one or even if it's just one or two nuggets out of each thing. Learn something and learn as much as you can, as often as you can. So we actually know what we're doing when we're talking to our clients.
Yeah, good for you. I think that's really important. Sometimes that the CE credit, we kind of get in the mode of if you're attending class live, it's just like, what is my other business doing? Or if you're online, it's just like you're multitasking or something else.
Like, thank goodness I have two screens during this time.
Right.
Yeah. You know, and it's the same thing in the lending industry. We are no different.
Yeah.
So it's good to hear that it's not just us. But so, you know, that's a great attitude, is to start thinking about while you're doing the CE, even if you've been in the business like Suzanne's been for 13 years, you know, sometimes you think, oh man, I've been through this 13 times already. How many more times do I have to go through this? But you know what? Laws change. And so good for you for at least taking that opportunity to at least learn something. Maybe even if you're not paying attention the entire time, at least, you know, try to learn something from it. So
yeah,
that's cool. That's cool. Yeah. So I see a common theme is customer service, and you know, as we talked a little earlier, we talked about negotiations and standing up for clients, and it's all about customer service. So what does that look like to you guys? What is customer service, you know, and how do you accomplish a great customer service? I know it's a mouthful, so any one of you can, and we can tell you what we do here as well. So
I'll go. I think it's just, I just think, you know, we've kind of all talked about, you know, clients and customers, they're the number one priority. You know, they're so few and far between. We're in a very competitive industry. So what do you do to make yourself stand out? I mean, there's some agents that say, hey, I'm available 24/7. And certainly if there's an emergency, you know, feel free to call. I'll let my clients know, feel free to call me during the morning. But for the most part, you know, our job can be pretty much dialed back to say, hey, I'm available from these hours, just like you. I've got a family. I've got a life outside of real estate. So, you know, my precedent is, you know, anytime between these hours, I'm available. You know, call me and I'll call you right back if I miss you, that sort of thing. So really, it's just a matter of letting them know that, hey, you are my number one priority and I will be available for you when needed. Especially, and if there is an emergency, great. For the most part, you know, call me up until 8 p.m. or whatever your time frame is. And then when you tell them that, answer your phone or shoot them a text and say, I'll call you right back. It's really about just being attentive. Because I think that's the number one thing I hear feedback when I'm working with the different vendors, lenders, title company, home inspectors. It's just, hey, have you talked to so-and-so? I called them 2 days ago. I haven't heard back from them. Can you see what's going on? You know, that sort of thing. So I think it's just simply a matter of just answering your phone. And that sounds the most basic thing in the world. That should be real estate. That should be, you know, this sort of business 101. But the number of people that don't call people back timely or answer their phones during the hours you said you're available, I think that's where you really stand out, is when you do those sorts of things. So you back up what you say.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah, gosh, I was going to say, Sean, that is such a huge thing, is answering your phone. It sounds simple, but I think we've all been on the other end of that not happening. And so for that to happen with your clients is just, that's a frightening thing. For me, the customer service thing, the biggest piece for me personally is getting down to what the customer's needs really are. I feel like it's easy to assume what their needs are, or assume that their needs are the same as mine, you know, sort of project my own needs, but having enough conversations with them to get down to what really is important to them, and then being able to execute around that, and remembering that every person is different. And I mean, we know that, but reminding ourselves that every person is different and having empathy with that particular situation, that particular person, and getting down to what really is going to help them personally in the best way possible.
Do you have like a list of questions that you go through to kind of get those needs to come up? Or what's some ways that you've found to really discover what it is that the client's looking for?
I don't have a specific list of questions. Again, just having that conversation and relate to them. Really getting to know them. And again, not on the surface, not just how many bedrooms, how many bathrooms, do you want a fenced yard? That's all obvious basic stuff, but getting to know as much as you can what they are really about. What's their real motivation for buying a home, or their real motivation for selling a home. And so I don't have a specific list.
Okay.
On my way as I go, depending on who I'm having the conversation with.
Yeah.
So along that lines, you had mentioned that there's, you're helping. I think I just lost my train of thought. Don't you hate that? And we're recording, and I don't edit these things. So, so I think I had something that Suzanne had said was that, that you, and I think it's something that Chase mentioned too. It's kind of, you almost stand up for your clients. You are there to help them. And Sean said, did you answer your phone? Which I go back and look at, when people don't answer their phone, whether it's in this industry or another industry, or they tell me they're going to call me back and they don't, it's just like, that is so frustrating. So how do you guys handle that? What do you do when somebody doesn't call you back, and or how do you keep? So 2 questions. What do you do when they don't call you back, and how do you keep yourself organized to make sure that when when you tell somebody you're going to call them back, that you make sure you do?
I'm a huge fan of writing stuff down, especially in you guys probably have the same things happen to you, just randomly, multiple buyers at once. One of them will call you, they'll have an emergency, bam, whatever you were just dealing with, that's kind of out of your head. So you don't write stuff down. You don't know whether to come back and revisit it. I'm actually really surprised how many agents, sometimes loan officers, don't answer their phones and don't call you back on a timely manner in this type of economy we have, with houses selling, as fast as they do. But I always try to, call, leave voicemail, send a text right away with just my info, call back number, just in case they don't check their voicemails as often as usual. But that's kind of one of my strategies. And then I'll follow up again about every 2 to 3 hours, just to make sure I'm doing what I can do to keep the ball rolling and get the questions answered for my clients.
So when you write it down before, I'm interested to hear what the other 2 have to say about it. So when you write it down, you write that down like a note in your phone? Do you write it on a piece of paper? Do you have a notebook that you carry? What is it that you do?
I actually just had a client, one of my good friends, one of my good investors from California. He sent me for my birthday a planner book. I've never really used a planner before. I thought it was kind of old school, who's going to carry a notebook around with all the other stuff we have to carry around, and actually have really been enjoying. I feel like the motion of writing it down instead of just typing it in my phone, or it's one more thing to keep it top of mind, or keep it in the back of my head. So physically writing it down, I have come to, like, for myself, it is huge. So that I am a true believer in that.
Does anybody else do anything differently?
Well,
I do. You can go ahead, Suzanne.
One comment I had, and I agree with the writing down, and the exercise of doing it does help you commit it to memory. But what I was going to say is, we have the advantage now of technology more than ever before, which we know. And the great thing is everything's already recorded for us, unless we've had an in-person conversation. So for sure, at the end of the day, and if I have time throughout the day, I'll scroll back through my calls, either missed call, whatever, back through my calls and back through my texts. And frequently I'll go, oh, yeah, I was going to call them back. So that's my reminder, is just to look back and see, who did I talk to? Who did I text with? Huge fan of writing down as well, but my little quick reminder is just to scroll back through and see.
Kind of do a review at the end of the day. see what you got done, see what, if there's anything that could have fallen through the cracks.
Did forget someone, because almost invariably I did, but I don't want them to know. So
Right.
Yeah.
getcha.
What about you,
You
Sean?
know, yeah, I learned. So when I first got my license, I joined the team, and I got a lot of good training and knowledge and stuff throughout. One of the things I learned though was keep a notebook by you, and then just put little check boxes. Call so and so, text so and so, follow up on this, and then you just check the box when you go through it. So for me, it's as old school as it is. I like to think I've got a pretty good memory, but at the same time, I'm just like Suzanne, just like probably 99% of us. I do let stuff slip through the cracks and forget. And, and I think the thing is, so you call those people back, and if you do forget to call somebody back that day or whatever, you send them an email like, hey, you want me to run some comparables? You want me, right now we got taxes coming up, if they want to fight their tax, that sort of stuff. And you say, oh, I'll run numbers for that and all that. And you forget. I think the most important thing is just to own it. It's like, hey, I apologize. I said I was going to call you yesterday. And I don't even try to justify, I got busy doing this, such. Say, I apologize. I meant to get this to you yesterday. I didn't. And I'm sorry about that. But here's the information that you requested or that I said I would provide for you. So I think it's ownership is ultimately the biggest thing at the end of the day.
Yeah.
I love that. I think that's huge. Taking accountability for your own actions for sure.
True.
Yeah, I think, and people understand that, we do live hectic lives, people live hectic lives. So just own up to it they usually it's just water under the bridge. It's when you don't get back to them or you don't apologize. They just think that's how you do business. And then it starts to leave that bad taste in their mouths.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, I've had a couple of times when I've been talking to people and they give me the same excuse twice in a row. And I'm like, oh, they probably didn't realize that they had that same excuse last time. But
Right.
yeah, so I think that when we own it, people they feel like they can trust us because we're being real with them. So, yeah.
Totally.
So where you guys all really, kind of the top priority, I think, is that customer service. How I want to talk a little bit, and this has been something that we've focused on a lot more lately, is what you guys are doing with your past clients to be able to maintain that relationship. And, it makes it so that you're the lifelong realtor where anytime, a house question comes up or, even if it doesn't relate to what you do, they're still going to call their realtor. You know what I mean? How do you guys get that type of relationship? And also how do you track, or I guess, what are the activities that you do to keep that relationship going even after you've closed?
One thing is social media is a beautiful, beautiful thing for that, isn't it? I'm always gravely disappointed when I work with someone who's not on Facebook. I do enjoy keeping up with them. And I think you'll all agree with this. You become friends with people. You do develop a relationship. And I personally enjoy being able to see when they have a baby and when someone graduates from high school and all of those things. I love that. And so social media makes that really, really easy. That can't be the only thing because some people don't participate, but that's my favorite. Yeah. And it's just easy to check in with them here and there. Sorry about that. That was my computer answering my phone. My phone's on.
No worries. Technology is beautiful.
Yeah, we love it.
Yeah. Yep.
Hey, that makes this whole thing real, right?
Yep.
Yeah, it's true. We're live. There you go.
We totally are. So how about you? Either one of you? Do you do something to keep up with your past database?
For me, you go ahead first.
Oh, sorry, Chase. Sorry to cut you off.
No, you're good.
Yeah. So if it's a past client or a sphere person that I may have not done a deal with, but I do put them into a kind of a 36 touch plan throughout the year. So I make sure I got 4 quarterly calls. I got monthly mailers going out to them. I got once a month emails, social media. And I even told them kind of right when COVID all started, I'm like, hey, I'm going to double down and check on you even more often, just because they maybe find 1 week and the next week, maybe they're job got eliminated or something like that. So I think it's just really staying in front of people. And then, of course, I send home anniversary cards, I send them birthday cards, that sort of stuff. So I try to, 36 is kind of my minimum. I try to touch them, in that sense, multiple times a year, multiple times a month, just so, again, you're in front of them saying, hey, what do you need? And oftentimes I don't even broach real estate with like, oh, by the way, while I have you on the phone, do you know anybody looking to buy or sell? Kind of just thinking that caring, nurturing aspect of reaching out to them will organically drum up business. But it's just, whatever you can do. And I kind of want to be the Angie's List for them. So if they need a yard person, or if they need an HVAC person, or somebody clean their air ducts, or a roofer, like I want to be that person they call first, just because not only does he do real estate, he helps me get in touch with all these people that come up with owning a home, whatever that may be. So that's ideally how it happens, and I'm working on building my vendor list and all that sort of stuff. But if you reach out to me, I will find somebody for you. Even if I don't have that particular vendor already in my list, I will find somebody for you. And that's what I want to be known as.
Awesome.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, that's impressive if you can touch them 36 times.
Yeah.
Chase, do you do anything different?
A lot of my business is, I'm lucky enough to do a lot of, sphere of influence. I work with a lot of people that I know already. I don't do a whole lot of outside business as of now. So really, it's really easy. I go to events, I go to weddings, I go to birthdays, go out on, with friends to dinners. I try to, with big events, I'll try to get gifts together, and maybe just drive around one day and deliver them to past clients, or, just get face to face with them, top of mind. I am terrible at the social media thing, especially for being a millennial. I'm trying to get better. I know that's all a big part of this business, but I try to, that to be honest, that's where I struggle the most, is being on social media, top of mind type of thing. But I do like the whole vendor business. I am the same way there. I like to have people call me if they need a plumber, if they need an electrician, just to be the go-to guy. People just know already, and they know they can trust me too when they get a referral from me. I hold, I talk with the people that I'm referring to. I hold them to a high standard. If they, I love to refer people, first of all, because when I find someone that's good, I want to make sure that everybody gets to experience this person, especially when they have the right, characteristics and the right mentality as far as being there for the client. So that's what I pride myself in also, is being the go-to person. If they need anything done, they can give me a call.
You said something there that I thought was really important. You had mentioned that you love to give referrals. Most people say that they love to get referrals, but it's really the person that gives the most referrals gets the most referrals. Because
that's what I've learned.
Yeah, I'm glad you've learned that early in life, because the more referrals you give, the more referrals you get, because you're providing value to somebody else, and they feel a little bit obligated. It's like, dude, man, he's like giving me 3 or 4 referrals. I need to do something, so what your name's going to come up when somebody needs their real estate needs. It's like, you're the man.
Yeah. And then they also see that, like, hey, he spread my name this many times, but when you talk to him and you say, this is how I like to work with my clients, I want people that have the same interests, their interests top of mind. They see that you actually care. That's what I've learned the most, is they're seeing it. They're not getting they're kind of getting a sell out of you, but at the same time, they're seeing your true colors on how you want to make sure that they're going to be taking care of your client, so it really gets the true message across, I feel like. And then also, like, even just going to free events, fundraisers, things to help people out. It's not, one, just rewarding for yourself, but 2, you end up, just being top of mind. You're there for people, and they see that, and good intentions, I think, go a long way.
Yeah, absolutely. And I loved how you said, when you find someone that's really good, you want to spread the word. So like, if you find a really good plumber or something, you want to make sure that your clients know about this guy. And so And especially where Sean was talking about, he's trying to get like 36 points of contact each year. Is that right, Sean?
Yeah. Yep. Three or 4 months. Yep.
And even, that to me, that's a great opportunity to not be, so that each of those isn't, a real salesy type feel to it. So they don't, when they see your call, they're like, oh, I know he's going to ask me for, who else I know, you know what I mean? But if some of those calls are just, hey, I just wanted to let you know, man, I had to have some work done, on my house, and this guy just did amazing. I'm not sure if you need any work done or if you know of anybody that needs a really good plumber, but just in case you do, let me know and I'll get them some good information. So I think that could even be, a good tool to where you're using that referral base to make even more points of contact throughout the year that seem a little more organic,
Right.
Yeah.
So you guys have mentioned that your SOI and getting referrals and your past database, which I know that you've all heard the statistic is that and I don't have the exact numbers, but there's a high percentage of people that would use their realtor again, but there's a really low percentage of people that actually do. And it's not because they don't like you. It's because they just don't remember who you are. And so my business coach had told me once, and I wasn't really good at keeping past my past database. He goes, Ron, somebody that doesn't work their past database just doesn't like money. And I went, okay. He says, dude, man, just think about it. People sell their house, and you guys can probably attest to this, every 5, maybe 7 years. Does that sound about right?
I think the last numbers I've heard from that NAR is more like 7 to 10. People are hunkering down a little longer, but yeah, they're still in their lifetime making 3, 4, 5 sales.
Okay, so let's say every 10 years. So that means that 10% of your database is moving every year.
Right.
Especially once you've been, so Suzanne's been in 13 years. So she's got, you hope you did better than I did, because I've been in 25 years and I don't have 25 years in my database. So hopefully you've done better. But if you have 10 years worth, you're to the point where at least 10%, probably more, of your database is going to move at some point. So after 10 years, and you have, let's say you just have 200. You have 200 people in there. There's 20 opportunities right there for you to list or to help a buyer, or both. Yeah. So it's just so critical for us to keep in touch with our past database.
And that's even before people they know and the referrals that they could give to you. You know what I mean? So there's a lot of unmined gold in your database.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that in order for people to think of you, we knew a guy that he was a loan officer, and he was talking to us, and he's like, I want people to be wowed, but really my end goal is to, and I don't know if this is a weird thing to say, but he's like, I almost want people to be like, disciples, where they're just like, it's like, no, he's the only guy, he's the only realtor that, or gal, sorry about that. So they are the only realtor that, I'll do business with. I, not only did I have an amazing experience, but it's like, we're buds now. And, I just call him to chit chat sort of thing. And so he's like, that's my goal. And so he had a whole plan to, how he and his team could work on getting people to the point where it's just like, you're the only person that they think of, so that anytime somebody needs a realtor, they're, oh, you got to use my realtor. You got to use my guy. Seriously, he's the best. Or you got to use my gal. Sorry, I keep saying guy, Suzanne. I'm sorry.
Wait, it's a guy.
Yeah,
we use that term.
You got to use my realtor. They're seriously the best out there. And so I think that's where, you know, you expand that sphere of influence, because now not only do you have the people that you've worked with in the past, but you have their families, their close friends, you've got, you know, the people that they work with. So you just, you know, quadrupled your sphere of influence without even, you know, necessarily knowing it, but you do it by just doing exactly what you guys are already doing. You know, go out of your way and bend over backwards for your clients. You know, Sean, before the podcast, we had talked a little bit, and Sean just said, you know, his goal is to provide the client with more value than he's actually getting paid. And he's, you know, it's a hard thing to measure. It's impossible to measure, really. But if your mentality is that, you know, I got to provide more value, and everything that you do in the transaction is providing more value than you're getting paid out of that, then I think that's really kind of a key to getting to where people are, you know, you're getting that kind of following.
Yeah. And I think really quickly to touch on that, and I think it's got to be genuine too, because people can sniff out if you're being authentic or if you're just doing it for the sake of doing it. You know, so that's the thing. If you're genuinely trying to help people out, even if it's not helping them buy or sell a home at that given time, but finding them a yard person, then following up like, hey, did you ever find that person? How were they? Tell me about, you know, they know you care about more than just your commission. They care about you as an individual, as a family, as whatever they may be, a friend, family, a referral, but you just show that you genuinely care, and they can tell a big difference between if you're authentic or not.
Yep.
That comes back to, you know, you've heard this before, is smile when you're on the phone, because people can hear it in your voice.
Yeah.
And they can, and people will be able to sense, just like Sean said, they'll be able to sense whether people say fake it till you make it. It's just like, dude, you can't fake sincerity.
Yeah.
People are too smart and too savvy these days for you to try to pull one over on them. You've just got to be who you are, whatever that is, when you know what your personality is, but just own it and be authentic and genuine and just go with it.
Yeah.
Yeah. We have a coach that talks about, you know, 25% of people are going to like you no matter what you do. 25 are going to hate you no matter what you do. And then the other 50 is kind of where you're working. So he kind of talks about that too. You know, every day he wears Harley Davidson shirts, and he never dresses up, even at formal events. He's always in his Harley Davidson shirt. And he's just like, you know what, people are gonna, you know, even if I dressed up, they'd, you know, have some issue with it. And I don't know, he's a big proponent of that, is just being who you are. And then the people that like you for who you are, those are the ones that you want to do business with anyways. And those are the ones that are going to be your repeat clients. And, you know, they're going to be the ones that you actually want to call. Because I'm sure that we probably all had the clients where it's like, I don't know that I want to follow up with it.
Well, it's like, I don't want to refer from them, because they refer people just like them too. So it's just like some people just like, you guys know what I mean, right?
I know exactly.
We won't name any names, but yeah, I think we can all kind of relate to that. So anyways, I think that that's kind of key, is just, you know, being real with people and being who you want to be, so that you're attracting the type of people that you want to work with, that you want to call. So yeah. So, you know, this customer service that we talk about, it takes time. I mean, a lot of time. A lot of it's, you know, being ready and available, like for phones and stuff. So if you guys don't mind sharing, about how much per week are you know, working right now? Are you guys crazy swamped? Are you working, you know, crazy hours where you don't have time for other things, or where are you at? No comment?
Well, for me, business is good. You know, business stayed good during the quarantine, although we were mostly doing it by phone and by Zoom, etc. But pretty close to being back to just business as usual. I've got multiple offer situation I'm fielding this morning, and I know you all know what that's like.
Fun stuff.
Yeah. And you hate to complain but yeah, anyway, it's challenging, but So yeah, I'm working.
Cool.
I've stayed busy throughout this whole process. Right now, I just finished up. I just had my third closing last week of this month, so I kind of got it easy going until the end of the month, which I'm pretty happy about because it's a nice little break. But business is still work. I mean, people are still buying houses like crazy. I was a little worried at the beginning of quarantine, um, but the way I'm seeing it, it's looking pretty good for a little while.
Good.
Good.
But I've been really busy though. But always have time for more. That's the thing about it. There's,
Yeah.
as long as you schedule it correctly and you take advantage of asking for help if, in the right moments, if you need someone to help you show a house, if you have two clients at once, it's just, in my experience, it's just more about, if you need help, ask for it. Cause then you look the best at the end. So
Cool.
that's what I like.
Yeah, it's funny. I'm actually having my best year ever, and it all started, I think, because so I had a really bad. Thank you. Yeah, I mean, it's interesting because I had a really bad 2019. I had some personal stuff. My wife, her health was not great at the time. She's doing great now, but I didn't realize that I was. So what kind of reflected at the end of last year, I was like, well, what was going on? I was in the office every day, but I was in the office for the sake of looking like I was being productive, but really I was just being busy. So I was like, you know what, let's start working, start actually being productive. And then come February, March, because I feel like we're on the 90-day lag. What we do today manifests itself in business in 90 days. And so I started doing that, and thank goodness I did, because I didn't know middle of March we were going to have a worldwide pandemic shutting down a lot of things. So I was just getting ready to have a good year anyway, and then that happened, and it's helped me sustain through it. So I'm not burning the midnight oil. I'm not working, 12, 14 hours. I come in the office every morning. I make my calls or my Facebook messages or texts, and I do that. And then if I don't have an appointment, ideally I set an appointment for the afternoon or scheduled house, showings. And if I don't, then I'm not one of those guys or gals that, and there's no right or wrong, but some people are like, I'm not leaving the office until I set an appointment. And that's fine. That's what they want to do. That's great. I kind of like this life by design. So my goal is to call or connect with X number of people a day. When I do that, if I set an appointment, great. If I don't, great. And then I'll go enjoy my afternoon. If that means I go play around in golf, even though it's been really hot. So not doing that as much right now, but you know what I mean? Like, I just find a way, like, hey, just keep working and be consistent about it. And the more consistent I am, I'm seeing less peaks and valleys in my business in terms of 3 closings 1 month, none for a month or two. I'm seeing 1, 2, 3 a month, whatever those numbers are. And that's been really helping me sustain just a nice business this year, as opposed to, okay, where's my next piece of business going to come from? Stuff is, my pipeline is pretty full.
Yeah. Life balance, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. Well, I think that's, we're kind of running out of time. Is there anything else that you guys want to discuss? You guys good?
Let's just do one last thing. So one last piece of advice for somebody that, they just got their license and then pandemic hits. What's your advice for, that person because they don't have, a past database to rely on. They're kind of going cold into the business. So what's something, just a little tip that you would give to them to get through and get things going?
My piece of advice would be, if you're newly licensed, you still know people. Yeah, you don't have your past clients that, all that sort of stuff. But find out what people need. If they're running a small business, hey, do you want to get together? We can do a 5-minute Q&A on what your business does and when you're available. Just see how you can provide value to other people right now. Because right now it's just about, let's help out the next common, our fellow citizens. So if you are trying to drum up business, it doesn't seem like that's the way to go. You can start door knocking, cold calling, whatever, that's fine. But just see what the people that you know already, see what they need, how you can help them. If that's personally, if that's professionally, whatever, if they need a ride to the doctor, whatever. Just see how you can help other people at this point.
Cool.
John,
Kind of become a part of the community almost, right?
Yeah. Just get out in front and just, you can host open houses, and you should. that you just genuinely just call somebody and say, hey, are you okay? If not, how can I help you? And attentively listen to them and then follow up on it.
Cool. I like that. Suzanne, you were going to jump in there.
Well, I was saying, Sean, I think that's excellent advice. Always coming from contribution to other people. That's never going to be a bad thing.
No.
But as far as someone being newly licensed or not during the pandemic and all that's going on, this is the best time to connect with other people. I mean, there's never been a better time to connect. People are craving that and appreciating it. And, you don't have to call them and say, hey, you're looking to buy or sell a house. Obviously, is probably the last thing they want to hear right now. But just connecting in ways, as Sean already stated, hey, how you doing? I know it's been rough for all of us. And, I'm tired of staying home. How are you doing with it? Or whatever it is. But it's a great time to connect. And developing an SOI is about connecting with people. That's all it is. So,
yeah, just call your past. I know that we're talking about people that don't have their past database, but if you have a past database, just call them and just for no other reason, just to see what they're doing, or call your sphere of influence and to see how they're doing, because some people really aren't. So it's probably not.
Yeah, I've got a great script right now. It's call
share it with us.
Hello. Hey, how are you?
Yeah,
that's it. That's just genuine. It's just how are you?
Yeah.
What's going on? It's the easiest script in the world right now. People are home. People are looking, like Suzanne said, for attention, somebody to chat with, because they're probably pulling their hair out too, just sitting there watching TV all day or not really socializing in any way. So just call and see how people are doing.
That's an awesome script.
Yeah, and I've done kind of a similar thing, and it seems like when you don't bring up the real estate side of things, they kind of bring it up and they say, how are you guys doing? How's the housing market looking? And how are you guys impacted? And, it's an opportunity that you can jump in and talk about that stuff if it comes up. But if it doesn't, then, that's okay too. And so, yeah, absolutely. Chase, what do you got?
Sean, Suzanne, you couldn't have said those any better. Touch base with people, check in, see if they're all right. I think the one thing that I believe is probably the most important, pandemic, no pandemic, is consistency. People want to see that you're consistent. People want to see that, you're out there every day, you're hustling, you're just doing what you need to do. You're not sitting on the couch watching TV, just waiting for a deal to come. Get out there, who knows what, just go volunteer even, just be busy, just be out in the community, and everybody has an SOI. Everybody has a past client list. It doesn't have to be people that they've sold anything to. It could be relationship based. Everybody has a past group of people they can touch base with, that's my belief at least. So don't be afraid of, when I first got in the business, I was afraid of ruining relationships I've built my whole life because they think I'm just going to be a salesman. Don't worry about people. People want to work with you. People want to work with someone they know, they can trust. So don't be scared to do that. Don't be scared to get out there. I thought when I first started, stay home and save money. You got to save some money. That was the worst thing I could have ever done. So it's like, not the saving money part, but like staying home, because I wasn't getting out in front of people. So get your face out in front of people, show people your personality, go help somebody, like Sean was saying. But yeah, just check in on people.
Yeah.
And
go golfing.
It'll go a long, it'll go a long way.
Invite someone to come with you on stuff that you're doing, or for sure.
Totally.
Hey guys, we are so grateful for you, and I sincerely mean that. We are. I know that you guys are busy and have other things to do, so we appreciate you spending some time with us today and imparting some wisdom. And there are some really good, some golden nuggets in here that I hope others will take advantage of. So I'm going to do a shameless plug, and you can call Taylor and I if you have. Obviously, Suzanne and Chase and Sean are. You know what? Before I get to that, Suzanne, how do they get hold of you?
How do they get a hold of me?
Yeah, how do people get hold of you?
Do you want me to give my phone number?
If you want to. I mean, if you want an email or a phone number or whatever.
Or
you want to do.
Facebook.
All over social media. My phone number is 801-910-1152. So hit me up on Facebook or give me a call.
Cool. Chase, how about you?
Call or text is always best. 435-962-0101. I try to do the social. I'll answer back on social media, but I don't post
It
much.
might be
so.
a month later or something.
No, it'll be that same. It'll be within the hour. I just don't post. I'm actively watching. I just don't engage.
That's okay. That's all right.
And
Michelle?
I'm like Chase. Yeah, call or text are best. I do check, Facebook pretty consistently, but call or text is best. 801-694-3264.
Cool.
And if you guys, if you're listening, if you could give us a 5-star, we love 5-star reviews, but if you give us a review, we would love that. Of course, we love the 5 stars.
Yeah.
And if you want to get hold of Taylor or I, you can just call us. Just one number is 801-628-7667. And we will catch you on our next podcast on Agent versus Lender. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hey.
Thank you.